This is CNN Student News. My name is Carl Azus. It's good to see you this Thursday. First up, people around the world are praying for South Korea. On Wednesday, there was an accident on a ferry headed for a resort island. It was carrying 459 people. The weather was good, the seas were calm. But witnesses say that around 9 a.m., the ship started to list. At some point, there was a loud bang. It's unclear whether that was before or after the ship began tilting. People were told over a loudspeaker to stay where they were, that it'd be too dangerous to move. But over the next couple hours, the ship capsized, and the passengers, many of whom were high school students, were in desperate need of rescue. Paula Hancock's reported on this in the hours after the accident.
It's a heartbreaking scene here just outside Jindo Auditorium on the southwest tip of South Korea. This is really the staging area for where the rescued had come earlier this morning, but now where the parents of those who are still missing are congregated, desperately waiting for any news of their children. There is a list behind me, which is basically of the people who have been rescued and the names of the hospitals if they have been taken to hospital. We are seeing families arrive in a desperate state, looking through those names, poring over the list and breaking down when they see that their child's name is not on that list. Now, we know that the majority of the passengers on this ship were high school students. They were on their way to Jeju Island, just south of South Korea, about 100 kilometers south. It's a tourist area. They were on a 4-day field trip. We know at this point almost 300 people are still missing. Now, as you can see, darkness has fallen, and of course with it hopes are falling as well of finding many more survivors. We do know that the search and rescue operation is still very much underway. Helicopters are trying to see if anyone is in the water. We know that Navy divers have been trying to get inside the sunken ship throughout the day. It's unclear whether or not they were able to. We know they were having difficulty because of strong currents. There's also a USS Navy ship from the US 7th Fleet trying to lend their hand as well. A desperate situation as the search continues for those who are still missing. But of course, these waters are cold off South Korea, and we're hearing from the Coast Guard that the expectation of survival really is no more than 2 hours. Paula Hancock, CNN, Jindo, South Korea.
Next story today concerns the Middle Eastern nation of Yemen. It's not just what it shows that troubles the Central Intelligence Agency and the Pentagon. It's also whom it shows. This is believed to be the largest gathering of terrorists in years. They're affiliated with Al-Qaeda, the terrorist group responsible for the September 11, 2001 attacks in the United States. And they're meeting out in the open, blatantly risking a possible strike by a U.S. drone. In the video, the group's leader acknowledges this risk and calls on terrorists to attack America again. Experts say the CIA and the U.S. military either didn't know about the meeting or they couldn't get a drone there in time to attack. But after its recent appearance on militant Islamist websites, U.S. officials are analyzing every frame.
See if you can ID me. My history can be traced back to an English scientist named James Smithson, but most of my buildings are located in Washington, D.C. I'm the world's largest museum and research complex. I'm the Smithsonian Institution, comprising 19 museums and galleries and the National Zoo.
One of those museums, the Museum of Natural History, houses 30 million insects, 7 million fish, and one big old Tyrannosaurus Rex. Except unlike the other animals, the T-Rex is a fake. It's a replica. In a way, it's been sort of a placeholder since 1999, but its days are numbered. A real T-Rex, or at least a fossilized one, has migrated east in 16 crates.
The bronze skull in Bozeman, Montana is a symbol of this story. Way back in 1988, a rancher made an unexpected discovery.
We have a T-Rex.
Not a Hollywood-style dinosaur like in Jurassic Park, but a nearly pristine skeleton of one of history's most infamous prehistoric predators embedded in federal land.
And it lay in the ground, much as it had died on the shores of a stream in Montana just over 66 million years ago.
The skeleton is one of the largest and most complete specimens ever discovered. It was excavated and remained in Montana until now. Thanks to the Army Corps of Engineers, the dinosaur was divided into shipping crates, then packed into a FedEx truck and sent to Washington.
Bringing the nation's T-Rex to the nation's capital, where it can educate and inspire future generations.
The animal's massive femur bone was unveiled for the crowd at the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History Tuesday, which is closing the dinosaur hall that has existed here since 1911 for renovations. But visitors will be able to watch as the staff unpack, catalog, and photograph the fossils in the new temporary Rex room.
And this specimen was one of the first ones discovered that had an intact arm.
There are also banana-sized teeth, a glimpse of which will have to suffice until the fully reconstructed skeleton is unveiled in a new exhibit in 2019. After 66 million years, perhaps impatient paleontology fans can bear to wait just 5 more. In Washington, I'm Stacey Cohan reporting.
When we say today's roll call is going cross-country, we mean it's continental. First school is in Haines, Alaska. The Glacier Bears are watching. They're at Haines High School. Dipping southeast, we've got some Lions in Tennessee. It's good to see you guys at Concord Academy. It's in Memphis. And back up north in the Pine Tree State, we're waving to the Wildcats of Presque Isle High School. They're watching in Presque Isle, Maine. If you're a baseball fan like I am, you might have noticed that on Tuesday, everyone playing in the major leagues wore number 42. That was the number of Jackie Robinson, the first African-American player in the major leagues. His first game on April 15th, 1947. That was a year before the U.S. military was integrated, 7 years before the Supreme Court ruled that schools had to be integrated as well. The Brooklyn Dodgers infielder and outfielder played for almost 10 years, and the number 42 was eventually retired from all of Major League Baseball. That means from here on out, no one will wear it again. Today, about 8.5% of Major League players are African American. All right, next story today. They may be on scholarship, having the cost of higher education covered. They may be in championships, having their faces broadcast to households nationwide. Some may even become pro athletes, but some of them are not getting enough to eat. For months, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, the NCAA, has been discussing ways to change its rules concerning meals for athletes.
The NCAA approved a proposal on Tuesday to expand the meal plan for college athletes. Under this new proposal, anyone who plays in a Division I sport, including walk-ons, will be given unlimited meals and snacks. Previously, schools were allowed to provide 3 meals a day to only scholarship athletes. Now, this topic has been debated for months, but it was thrust into the spotlight during the NCAA tournament when UConn star guard and the Final Four's most outstanding player, Shabazz Napier, said that some nights he goes to bed hungry.
We're definitely best to get a scholarship to our universities, but at the end of the day, that doesn't cover everything. You know, we do have hungry nights that we don't have enough money to get food, and sometimes, needed money is needed. But I don't think, you should stretch it out to hundreds of thousands of dollars for players, because that's not, a lot of times guys don't know how to handle themselves for money. So, but I think, Northwestern has an idea, and let's see where it goes.
The new meal plan comes on the heels of the decision by the National Labor Relations Board in Chicago that football players at Northwestern University qualify as employees and are allowed to unionize. Now, Northwestern is appealing that decision and, like the NCAA, maintain that players are students, not employees. The new meal proposal still must be approved by the Board of Directors, which meets April 24th. From the CNN Center, I'm Andy Scholes.
We're wrapping things up today with a World War I era love story. The owners of a home in Indiana were remodeling recently. As a contractor pulled away some insulation in the attic, pages appeared. Letters written in 1918 from a man preparing to ship off to war to his sweetheart back home. It's a mystery how they ended up in this attic, though the soldier does have modern-day relatives living in the same town. The letters were returned to the family. The soldier who wrote them eventually married the woman he sent them to, so you can see what made this romantic. It's clear he did the right thing, even if he didn't let her alone. His actions compose the kind of story we just love to tell. I'm Carl Azus for CNN Student News.